All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Um, my name is Marshawn Graves. I'm the Associate Director of Admission here. We are hosting a webinar on sociology and criminal justice for incoming students. I'll just kind of that's my introduction. I'll let Professor Luther introduce herself, and then we also have Lyra on board as well. Go ahead and take a chance to introduce yourself before we get kicked off with your presentation.
I'm Lyra. I'm a senior at PLU. I'm a double major studio arts and criminal justice major. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Professor Kate Luther. I am the chair of sociology, criminal justice, and anthropology, and I'm here to talk about the sociology and criminal justice programs.
Mhm. And I would like to say before you get going, Professor, if you do have questions, please drop them in the Q&A, and just kind of let us, know what you're thinking, what kind of questions you have as she's giving her presentation. Um, if you wouldn't mind, drop in like, hey, what got you started, or interested in sociology, in the chat if you're with us. So go ahead, Professor.
Okay, I'm going to get my slideshow going. Are you able to see it?
We cannot see it right now. Yep, we're good to go.
Awesome, you can see me and my slideshow,
I
right?
can see you and your slideshow at the same
Okay.
time. We're good to go.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Well, thank you everybody for coming to learn about the Sociology and Criminal Justice program. I'm going to give a overview of our programs, and then I'm more than happy to answer some questions about it. Um, let's see. There we go. First off, I'm not the only part of the program. I want to start out with showing my full department. So we are a joint department of sociology, criminal justice, and anthropology. And we work together and teach different classes in our program. And I overwhelmingly teach our criminal justice courses. And then I've got some colleagues who primarily teach sociology, others who teach anthropology, but we all work together as a team. And this is our team outside of our beautiful building, Xavier. So I'm going to talk about the two different majors. And the first one here is the sociology major. And as you'll see, if you look in the top boxes, I'm used to pointing to these when I'm meeting in person with the student. So I'm going to try to not point. But as you'll see in that first box for sociology majors, you start out by taking Introduction to Sociology and Social Problems. And then following that, students move into a sequence of courses to really build their methods and their theoretical skills. They take quantitative research methods, they take qualitative research methods, and then they take a theory course. And then they finish that experience off with the capstone experience, which Lyra is in right now and will be able to tell you all about that in a bit. Um, and we have that top part of the major is pretty structured, but we like to provide students with opportunities to think about like what courses do you want to take that kind of build towards your career and your interests? So students are able to choose a course addressing a particular kind of inequality, and then they get to choose elective courses. So let's say, for instance, you are really interested, I don't know, in working with families, maybe families in like a therapy setting potentially. Let's say you want to go into counseling and therapy, which some of our majors do. You might decide with your electives that you want to take a family course, or you decide you want to take another course. We offer a sociology of education because that's the path you want to go on. So there's some flexibility there in what you decide. So that is our sociology major. We also offer a major in criminal justice, and you'll see that it looks similar, but it's done in different colors. So the layout is similar, and our two programs are really connected. So some of the core courses our sociology and criminal justice students take together, and then others they might take separately. So our criminal justice students start out with taking Introduction to Criminal Justice, which really introduces them to the field and the discipline and careers. And then they also take Introduction to Sociology. And then they take two methods courses, the quantitative and qualitative. And then they take criminological theories, followed by a capstone experience where they're going to be doing their own independent research project. Similar to the sociology major, our criminal justice majors also choose an inequality course. And then they choose additional elective courses. And I would say that overwhelmingly our criminal justice majors choose these very much based on the career path they're interested in. So let's say, for instance, gender and violence. So for students who want to go into victim advocacy, or for students who want to go into law enforcement, this is a course that a lot of them take. Those who want to work with, let's say, juveniles in probation are going to take our delinquency course. And one of the things that we see a lot of criminal justice students doing is taking our internship experience, where they're able to practice and learn from those who are already working in the field and get some hands-on experience. So those would be the two majors. I'm happy to answer more questions about those as we move forward. As I think about the program, a couple of the defining features of our program I want to go over, and the first would be internships, which I just mentioned. We have a lot of students who, especially during their junior and senior year, choose to take internships for our majors. And this is very much a defining part of students' education if they choose to do this. And so I've just listed a variety of internship partners on this slide to kind of highlight the variety of places that students work and get experience. So it's really awesome when you've got a student who wants to pursue a particular path and they're able to intern at a place and get some practice and kind of figure out if this is where they want to be. I'm going to just highlight one of these locations that I've supervised lots of student interns at. But Pierce County Juvenile Court has been a wonderful internship partner for years and gives students an opportunity to see how that field operates. Students commonly work with a probation officer and really get to see what it would be like to do that kind of work and take their maybe more abstract or theoretical learning from the classroom and actually apply it. One of the awesome things is we have some internship opportunities that can actually happen on campus. So for some students, they like to have their internship close by, whether that's at campus safety or working with our well-being services and resources. We've also got a couple on this list of internships that students have done while studying away, which is a really awesome way to enhance a study away experience and have that kind of learning take place while you're studying away. Again, I'm happy to answer more questions about internships, but I'd say that's been a defining part of our program.
Mm.
And then one last thing that I want to talk about our program that I think is really distinct, and that is the way that we have really deliberately worked to bring careers to life. And we've worked to help students see connections between what we're doing in the classroom to what their vocational path, as we would say at PLU, and what their next steps look like. So on this slide, I have a photo from an alumni panel that we had this October. And we had a whole group of alumni come back and talk about their careers, that they, current careers and their career path since graduating from our department, either with majors in sociology, criminal justice, or anthropology. And they were able to help students see what that path can look like, what opportunities they have, and were really deliberate in sharing about the connections that they saw between their majors and their career field, and help students start thinking about what those next steps might be. So we regularly have alumni career panels. We regularly bring alumni into our classes. Just this January term, I had two alumni come to class to share about their work that connects to the department and to our area of study, which was gender and violence. I had a police officer that works on domestic violence and stalking cases come to class. And then I had a victim advocate who works with victims of domestic violence come to class. And so it was really amazing for students to see PLU alum connecting their coursework to their career path. And then the last thing on this slide is that we engage in as many field trips as possible. This is something that I've really started working on. Along with this class that I taught in January, we went to Thurston County Court and we went to King County Court so that students could see connections between our coursework and what it looks like in real life. So those have been a couple of things that I'd say are unique and defining features of our program where we're trying to build those bridges between majors and next steps. Thank you. Oh, I guess that's my last slide. There we go. What do our graduates then do after graduation? Where do our graduates go? My very last slide here just has some recent careers that our students are in. So when you think about graduating with a degree in sociology, this is a list of sociology and criminal justice. We've got folks working for King County Housing Authority. We have many students that go into education, students who go into legal fields, healthcare and mental health care, law enforcement, education, Department of Corrections. And so this is just kind of a list of some recent placements of where our majors are. Thank you.
Nice, nice. So, at this time, I'm going to ask a few questions that I feel might be helpful to students who are going to be watching this webinar. The first question, this is for everybody. What originally drew you to sociology and criminal justice? And what do y'all call it for short? Do y'all have a thing that y'all call it for short? 'Cause it's such a long.
Faculty at least call it Soc and CJ. I don't
Okay.
know what do students call it?
Yeah, definitely Soc and CJ.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Social CJ. Can
Oh,
you hear me?
yep, we got
Yes.
you.
Yeah, we got you.
We got you. Okay, SOS and CJ.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what originally drew you to study SOS and CJ? And anybody can take this question first.
I can go first. I started working campus safety my freshman year. And a lot of the kids who work it were then going into law enforcement. And that kind of uh, interested me. And so,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking that, hey, I want to have a second major, don't know what to do. So I
Mm-hmm.
took Intro to Criminal Justice and Intro to Sociology my junior year, and the Intro to Criminal Justice, I had Kate as my professor, and I just fell in love with the class. And so, yeah.
Okay.
Um, well, my name is Devine.
Mm-hmm.
I double major in computer science and sociology.
Mm-hmm.
And so I chose to do also sociology because I realized that when in the career that I'm trying to go into, it's tech related. There's a few or less focus on this people aspect of it, and that's what I like to do, or I would like to work with people in the future. So sociology was something that would help me to not only understand how to communicate with people, but also be able to serve them better. Also, I like sociology. I like everything that we're learning it, that it's relatable and you can understand what's going on in society.
Hmm.
Any timeline, any part in history, there's always sociology that's involved, and it's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
I can
Dr.
answer
Kate?
that too.
Yeah.
Probably my defining moment as a student was I did an internship at a group home for convicted female juvenile felons. And that was the moment that I was like, okay, criminology is what I'm interested in. I spent a semester with these young women, and I learned that they were not very different from me. They just had had a lot of different opportunity, or I had had different opportunities that they didn't have, and had a support system that many of them didn't have. And it was really it was probably the most transformative 4 months of my life. And then I ended up going into a PhD program in sociology with a specialization in criminology.
Nice, nice, nice connections there. What are some of the common misconceptions people might have about SOS and CJ when they come in?
I would say maybe with CJ that you like the only job from it is law enforcement. I think there's like so many um, job opportunities, um, and you can really do a lot with it. Like I'm going to grad school here at PLU for education after, and I'll eventually want to come back to the maybe like probation side of things, but I think it's not as like limited for uh, career paths that I think people might think it is.
I like that, Lyra. I would totally echo that point. That I do think some students think that it's really limited, and that it's not for them if they don't want to go into one career path. But one of the things that we try to highlight, right, is that there's victim advocacy. There's so much work around prevention and intervention and supporting folks who are coming out of the criminal justice system, going into law. There's many ways to use a criminal justice degree that doesn't have to at all relate to law enforcement unless that's the path someone wants to take.
Um, I would say something similar. I also think that people underestimate, well, I wouldn't say underestimate was the right word, but limit themselves in what they think they can do with sociology. I I would say that before I came into PLU, I did running start for a bit, and my initial goal was to just do something STEM related, computer engineering, computer science, but I did a class in sociology. I believe it was social problems before I came into PLU. And I realized that there's so many ways that people don't think of that sociology is so integrated in everything that you do, every career that you might go into, every company or every industry. There's also sociology that's integrated, um, and with that, I think you're able to apply it anywhere that you want to go into.
Yeah, that's great, Davine. As you were talking, I was thinking about um, over my, I'm in my 18th year at PLU and thinking about different majors, right? We have majors that have gone on to medical school. Um, and we're just like, I think I need sociology to go along with my pre-med, right? We have many majors who go into education and go into social work, go into counseling. We also have a bunch of majors that do research related jobs because they fell in love with quantitative and qualitative research methods and want to do, let's say, program evaluation like some of them. And so the skills, and I want to really highlight here, I would say the method skills are something that I think sometimes students don't think about until they get into the major and recognizing like how that set of skills from sociology and criminal justice can get moved forward. But yeah, it's always awesome to hear about the different ways that our students end up using sociology as they embark on the next steps of their lives.
Yeah, things that I think about, as with any job, the social component is starting to weigh heavily in, you being hired. So that social and emotional intelligence, regardless of what you're doing, I think, Devine, this is kind of what you're hinting at, is like you need that social intelligence regardless of whatever field you go into. So it pairs well with whatever you want to do. That's what I'm getting from everybody. You share if y'all have started this is for the students, right? If you started, or and maybe this is for you, Kate, right? Can you share a memorable experience from a practicum site or a community placement that you've witnessed, or maybe that you've been a part of that might be just unique to Social and CJ?
Um, I don't know if I'm not going to claim these sorts of things as just unique to to our department. I think for students when they do internships, it can really be a place where like the light bulbs go off. They realize the skill sets that they have and that they are appreciated in that field and that they feel like a real connection that like this is the path that I want to go into. Um, I, oh, I'm thinking about students who I have a previous student who interned in a legal field, and I can, vividly remember talking with them about what opportunities they were having and just the way that their confidence builds up, right, as they continue to get to do new things and be challenged in new ways. And I think that's a really special piece of internship. To see what you can give to an organization and to think about what you're learning and what your next steps forward might be.
Yeah, I would, I guess maybe echo that. I studied away in Tobago this January, and I did an internship with the probation office there. And it was just a really beautiful experience being able to be like hands-on in the field, going to home visits and checking up on people on probation. And it honestly really changed my mind about, I thought I really wanted to do law enforcement. Um, and I think that kind of was a pivotal moment where being immersed in it, maybe I actually want to do probations and be able to make those connections with people and genuinely help them um, kind of better their lives. Police officers are first responders, like they handle an emergency and they have to move on from it. And the experience I got in the Tobago study away was a really great opportunity for me to see kind of just all the different ways that you can really make a difference with CJ.
I would say that I did in first year a research program called from the program called Office, Future Science, which focused on looking at different social issues and how we might better form different solutions or the different solutions that are already there. And I was able to use everything that I learned so far with all sociology classes I took. And it was also like an eye-opening moment to show that you do need the skills in sociology to be able to form effective solutions because in the end, the solutions are going to be helping other people, and you need to understand the problem that is disturbing other people and how you might be able to form the solutions and how it might work. And I was able to use what I had learned in my classes to come up with different solutions that might be able to help these people. And it was very nice to see that all of the skills that I learned were useful.
Nice. Um, I just got two more questions for y'all. One, I think this is for you, Professor King. Is graduate school something that students often pursue? And then how do y'all support that pathway?
So I'd say we definitely support graduate school.
Mhm.
One of the things that I think we try to work with students on is figuring out like when is the best time for graduate school. Um, I think that in our department, we try to be really like practical and honest with students, and help them understand like if they're interested, right, in going into a PhD, like the amount of time that they're going to have to invest in applying for that, um, the amount of time and money, right, and then thinking about what their uh, what their steps look like throughout that process. Um, I would say we have students who get their PhD, of course. It's probably, not probably, it is a lot more common to have students going into master's programs. And so, really helping them think about if they're graduating and they're kind of on the fence about it. I know that I always encourage them to wait a couple years till they're sure, because that's a big investment, both of time and money. Um, and kind of helping them think about their options. I think it's really common in our department that we all get emails, I'd say a year to 3 years after students graduate saying like, hey, I think I'm now ready to go to grad school, right? Will you write a
Hmm.
letter for me?
Hmm.
Um, we we know that these things are like a big investment and really big commitment, and it's really exciting when our students go on to grad school. And so we all work hard to support students so that so they know what options they have. We have a lot of first generation students in our department who might not have family members who can talk to them about these things. I know I'm a first generation college student, and my professors were the folks that I had to ask these questions to. And so trying to have really open, supportive, and honest conversations about those next steps happens very frequently in our department, and we love supporting them in that path. We also we love cheering them on when they graduate. So it's really fun when we have someone who recently earned their PhD, and the pictures went around the whole the whole department with guess who earned their PhD. So we're always trying to work and support students both as they're graduating from PLU and making those decisions, but also post-graduation.
And and then my last question is for the students here. Um, what's one thing you wish you knew about SOS and CJ before you started the major?
Um, I would probably say just the internship options. Um, I think I was kind of late to the game. I decided to like declared my junior year, so I didn't have kind of as much time to maybe explore the different internship options. But I do really think that they are such good uh, ways to figure out if what you're interested is actually what you're interested in because you're just so hands-on. And so I think, yeah, just being aware of the uh, internship options and also the flexibility of the program because my study away was actually technically a credit, but because I was interning at a CJ spot, we were able to make it work so that I could, go on the amazing study away trip, but still graduate on time. So, yeah.
I think it would be, for me, it'd be similar to the question you had asked, what people think about sociology that might be not true. I would say that in terms of finding, like Lara said, internships, um, you shouldn't just limit yourself to look at what someone might do in a normal path to be a sociologist. You should also have the habit of maybe looking into other majors and seeing what internship options are available to them, because you might be very surprised to see that there are very many uh, jobs or internships or programs that you might be eligible for because you're doing sociology. There's a lot of things that you can you're able to use what you learned in sociology in those jobs, even though they're not innately supposed to be for sociology. I think you should have the habit of just looking into that, seeing what other majors are doing. You might be surprised. You might find yourself applying to multiple internships and programs.
As you two were talking, one of the things that popped into my mind is that both of you are double majors, Davine with computer science and Lyra with art and design. And I think this is one of the really amazing things about PLU is the way we can like put things together. And you've got advisors who want to help you with that. Like Lyra, I distinctly remember our meeting as we were plotting everything out and working with your other advisor. And Davine, I was not part of that process with you, but I know Dr. McLeod was. And so I think PLU is a really special place that we try, especially when students come with a plan and are trying to get it to work and working with us. Um, we try to fit things together so that you can have this experience here where you're bringing in distinct disciplines and studying both of them, and then ending your time at PLU with this really cool combination of majors or majors and minors. So I think both of you have such like unique major combinations that it's pretty cool to highlight. I was also wondering, I know we've mentioned, or I've mentioned capstone a couple times in this conversation. Um, if it'd be okay with the two of you, I think it would be cool if you could talk about what your capstone is, because I think that's like also a defining piece of the PLU experience. And Davine, you've already finished your capstone, and Lyra, you're right in the middle of it. And I think it's an awesome way to see like what our majors do and how they build from like introductory courses and methods all the way up to this project that's uniquely theirs.
Yeah, I can speak on I'm just getting into it, so I'm doing a qualitative research method for my capstone, which means I have a research question, which is based around how uh, college educated individuals aged, 18 to 25 view victims of sexual violence. And so I already have, I think, 4 interviews complete. And so then moving forward with that, I think I need around, 8 more. And then um, all the while I'll be like, coding the interviews, things like that. And then at the end, I know I'll have to do a presentation for capstone. But I know, Davine, you can probably speak more on that because I'm not quite at that point yet.
So I did my capstone last school year, and it was also a qualitative project where I was answering my research question was looking into the experiences of college students in PLU who come from who are first generation college students and come from immigrant families. I did also interviews. I did about 11 interviews, and I was able to present what I found towards the end of the school year. All I can say is that every class that you do in PLU, every sociology class, is very helpful because it builds upon all that you learn, and with the goal at the end of giving you the tools that you need to be able to complete your capstone project. usually most capstone projects or my class, a lot of people did something they were passionate about. So the good thing about the capstone is that you're able to use your skills to do something that you're related to or you might be very passionate about and want to find answers to. And the other thing too is all the professors are very helpful to you and along all the steps of the way. Even during the presentation, I know a lot of people fear or are stressed about that when it comes to presenting your work at the very end. All I can say is that the atmosphere and the professors and the event itself gives you it helps you to be able, even if you're stressed, it gives you a space to be able to present your work. So yeah, all I can say is a very good experience. And if I would do it again.
Nice. Well, I appreciate y'all sticking around and giving such in-depth answers and kind of giving us, the future students insight into what, life as a Soc and CJ student will be like at POU and, from the study abroad to double majoring to, art and sociology is not something that you see every day. So to be able to have that, and even computer science and sociology, right? So see that unique perspective from y'all is really appreciated. And I look forward to seeing what y'all do with those combinations. So I appreciate y'all time. If y'all have any parting advice for anybody, go ahead and say that. If not, you are free to enjoy the rest of your night. I'm sure y'all are busy. Lyra, you're at work right now, so I'm sure you're busy. And if you don't have anything else, we can. Uh, that's a good night to everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good night.